بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Brothers and sisters in Islam, alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah, we have tonight entered into the second ashara of Ramadan. As expected, Ramadan was going to come and Ramadan is going to move fast. I'm sure we all can agree with the same sentiments that Ramadan is going very fast. And we're seeing the moon grow, and as you can see right now, the moon it's almost there. It's almost there towards that full moon. And inshallah, then it will be starting to move the opposite direction in its size until it vanishes, until it reemerges for the Eid, inshallah. But the question isn't so much what I can accomplish in Ramadan, as it is how much can I establish in Ramadan for continuation after Ramadan. Right now, really, we have to set our practices, our effort. We have to align our effort, and we have to prepare for the life after Ramadan when the shayateen are released, and when we go back to the normal life. How can we continue some level of consistency with Allah's house and the religion itself for the betterment of our worldly life and for the betterment of our next life? So inshallah, never give up, never lose hope. Allah's blessings always leave behind something with us. So never forget that aspect. Today, inshallah, in our 11th Taraweeh, we will be reading from the halfway point of the 13th juz to 3/4 into the 14th juz. Inshallah, tomorrow we would have completed half of the Quran, inshallah. That being said, there's so much to discuss because now there are surahs coming one after the other. Initially it was one surah for 2 days, and now it's like 5 surahs in one day. Before we continue with Surah Ra'ad, then Surah Ibrahim and Surah Hijr and Surah Nahl, I want to kind of talk briefly about Surah Yusuf. Brothers and sisters in Islam, let me teach you 2 very important lessons in life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a plan for everyone. Everyone, He has a unique plan. He will get you there. Say inshallah. Inshallah. But the method cannot be the way you want it to be. And whatever happens in between, know that it has never hindered, changed, altered, or disrupted Allah's way. Yusuf alayhi salam, in this beautiful story, it began by him informing his father he saw a dream. إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. Dad, I've seen these 11 stars. I've seen the sun and moon prostrating to me. It's an amazing dream. 11 brothers, mother and father, 13. يَا بُنَيَّ لَا تَقْصُصْ رُؤْيَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ. Don't tell your brothers about this dream. فَيَكِيدُوا لَكَ كَيْدًا. They're going to plot to harm you. As I said yesterday, when you have something, you should not talk about it. You should not boast about it. Many a times when people boast about certain happenings in their life, in their social network, in their friend circle, they end up calling on themselves evil eye. And evil eye is real. And it's ever more so rampant in our world today because of social media. Check out my new car. Check out my new this, new that. Anything that will cause someone to look and glare and say, how, why, you're causing evil eye. So it's imperative that this lesson, the evil eye lesson, is taught in many places in this surah. For example, when he told his sons to go find Yusuf, he said, don't enter from one door, enter from separate doors. The family was very beautiful and handsome. They don't want people to have evil eye on them, so scatter. Don't move together. There's many lessons. This Surah Yusuf could be discussed the whole Ramadan. But what happened was that their envy and jealousy towards their brother led them to a path to try to kill him. Jibreel alayhi salam is recorded to have said that the time that I had to move the quickest was when Allah commanded me. I was by the throne of Allah, and Allah commanded me, O Jibreel, Yusuf has been thrown, save him. He was thrown, he's falling into his well, and Jibreel alayhi salam told, go save him. It is said that he stretched in his full capacity and his original creation, and he caught Yusuf alayhi salam before he touched the ground. And guess what happened? He lost his mom and dad. He lost his brothers. He was pulled out and sold. He became like a son or a slave. He was seduced. He was accused. He was jailed. He was jailed, and then he found hope, but the hope he banked on lost hope in him. Because when he told the guy of the two that interpreted their dreams by him, he said to the guy that he assumed is going to be saved, just inform the king about me. But he forgot. فَلَبِثَ فِي السِّجْنِ بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. He stayed for many years in jail after that. And he comes out. He has been exonerated. The claims have been proven wrong against him. And now he's reached a point where he is the Minister of Food and Agriculture and Government Affairs. He has created a system that the world today is building off of. What do you call those? The godowns? How to save food, how to conserve, where to store them, how the process will be for people to exist in the 7 years of drought after 7 years of affluence and goodness. This whole system he created as a prophet of Allah. Remember, prophethood in religion isn't just religion, it's life. It is life through the light of Allah. That's what religion is. We have this misconstrued concept in our head. Oh, it's religious. Meaning it's like a book and a beard and a hijab and a burqa sitting in a corner. No! Religion is what made this world what it is. And religion, its absence is why it's collapsing today. It's in the absence of religion that we've lost the light of progress. True progress in the golden age was at the time when the Muslims, through the light of Islam, were changing the world for the better. So now look at this. Allah planned for this boy to be sitting on that seat. You would assume, okay, this is going to be one big leap. Allah took him into the gutters. Allah took him into that well. Allah snatched him from his family. He went into a foreign land. He was sold. He was seduced. He was jailed. Look where he's going. But he ended up where Allah wanted him. People can try to harm you, but remember, if your faith is on Allah, no one will ever stop what Allah has written for you. قُلْ لَنْ يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا. Remember, say this, that nothing will reach us except that which Allah has written for us. If my Allah has written for me to get married, I will get married. If Allah has written for me that job, I will get that job. If Allah has written for me a sum of money, or a position, or a title, or anything, it's going to come, it's going to come. It may not come the way I anticipate it to. And anyone who tries to be a roadblock, they're not a roadblock. Allah had already planned this route. Their doings has just made their destiny in hell more solid. For those who do evil on others, those who do magic on others, those who harm others, are only making their place in Jahannam. May Allah protect all of us from this. This is a common phenomenon and culture in our Muslim community, both in the Ajam and Arab, when it comes to harming someone just because you don't like them. There is this gung-ho determination to harm a person. And whatever routes we take, remember, you're not changing someone's destiny. You are just changing your akhirah, from the heaven to the hell. Moving along, so the dream will become a reality. Allah has written it, it's going to happen, it will happen His way. If you cling on to Allah, the ride will be beautiful. regardless what trenches you have to pass through. And if you cling on to your hopes and your whims and your desires, the entire journey will be a nightmare. Doesn't matter how many gardens you pass through. Moving on to Surah Ra'd, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says something very interesting here in the Surah of thunder. Ra'd and Barq, lightning and thunder. Did you know lightning, thunder, the rain, the wind, the sand, the leaves, the branches, everything is hymning the praise of Allah? Do you ever think about that? When the thunder roars, it's making tasbih. I remember once I was in Medina Munawwara, and I love telling this story. And I jumped in a taxi after Azhar to do a quick ziyarah. Many times we take groups, you're with the groups and you're kind of guiding them. Just have your little own time. And so I jumped in a taxi, and the brother who was driving me was actually a professor. And he studied here in America. And mashallah, very well versed in English. And we had a good conversation. And when we introduced ourselves to each other, he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said to me, "Do you know the pig is a good animal?" I was frozen for a second. And I turned around like, okay, I'm in Medina, right? I'm in Medina. What's this guy trying to say? He goes, "Did you know a pig is a good animal?" I said, "Okay." So he goes, "You doubt me, right?" I said, "I just don't understand where you're coming from." He said, "Is the pig not the creation of Allah?" I said, "Yes." Did Allah not say, وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ, that every creation is hymning the praises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I said, "Yes." Because isn't the pig worshipping Allah also? I said, "Yes." So the pig is a good animal. Yes, we don't eat the pig. We don't consume the pig. We don't use the pig. We don't bring the piglet home as a pet, like in Charlotte's Web. But the pig is Allah's creation, and it's making tasbih. If you now look outside understanding this, that everything that's happening is remembering Allah. It's a form of remembrance of Allah. It should elevate our faith. It should increase our connection with Allah. That Allah, the creation that can't do anything for itself, is doing everything for you, and you've given me that free will, you've given me choice, you've given me ability. How much am I remembering you? That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُمْ بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَتَطْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُمْ بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. The people who have brought faith aren't the people who say they're people of faith, who dress as a people of faith, who worship as a people of faith. The people of faith Allah defines throughout the Quran. The people who have brought faith are the ones that their hearts find serenity and peace in the remembrance of Allah. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had a mission which would give him a migraine. It would give him such a headache. Dealing with people, dealing with cultural practices, breaking from the norm, introducing something new isn't easy. And he was sent for the whole of humanity. But he says, قُرَّةُ عَيْنِي فِي الصَّلَاةِ. When I had it all with all this, and I would say, Allahu Akbar, I found coolness of my eyes in prayer. We today run from Allah's remembrance. A believer runs to the remembrance. We feel it's a burden. A believer feels it's a solution. We feel it's time consuming. A believer feels this is the remedy and serenity that they're looking for. We have to change how we see things. We have to. So Allah is saying the believers are those that their hearts find peace in Allah's remembrance. Ala bi-dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Go to your spas. Go to Cancun. Go sit in a meditation conference. Allah is telling you, peace of heart. I created you. I created your heart. That peace that you need in your heart is through my remembrance. Allah is saying. Through the remembrance of Allah do hearts find peace. Today the Muslims are like fish out of the water. Who are we to describe to the world how good the water is? Hum tarap rahe hain. We are shaking for our lives. We are outside of the water. Take a fish out of the water. It's jumping. It jumps. It's dying. Today Muslims are dying out of the water. And they're talking, the water's amazing. Check it out sometime. We've got a seasonal pass on the swimming club from May to August or May to September. Come and check it out. And you're not in the water. It's time for the Muslims to go back into the water. The water of Allah. The peace of Allah. Allah says, Sibghat Allah. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ سِبْغَةً. Color yourselves in the color of Allah. The baptism, as they call it. Put yourself, immerse yourself into the water of Allah. What is better than the color of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It's time that we taste and experience what this faith is about, because talk is really cheap. Surah Ibrahim, in verse number 7, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, إِذْتَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَإِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. Allah made a proclamation. He made an announcement to all of the creation. Remember that time. لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. This is a global rule. If you are grateful, Allah will give you more. If you're ungrateful, His punishment is severe. What does this mean? If you're grateful to Allah, He will continue His blessing on you. What can be more greater of a blessing than that? A person could say, Imam, you make these khutbahs and you quote these verses. I've been working in the same job for 30 years making the same income. And Allah is saying that in shakartum la azidannakum. Where's the increase? I don't see myself as the CEO of a company now. I should have been. Can I do shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time? We're failing to see the point. La in shakartum لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you are grateful, Allah will continue to give you the health, the wealth, the opportunity, the skill set, and the protection for you to continue your job. He didn't make you disabled, Allah. He did not end your career. He did not break your family. He did not ruin your house. He didn't burn down your life. He kept it going. That is لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. I'll let it continue. It's like one of those toys. The more you pull back, the further the car goes. What are you expecting? The car to turn into a plane and fly off? You just have to pull it back and let it go. It's going to go as far as it can go based on how much time you gave in pulling it back. It's time that we realize that the fact Allah allowed us to wake up in a state of peace and goodness, without war or without plague, without problem, with ability to go out in the day or night without fearing our life. This is la azidannakum. But the day you become complacent, and the day you complain, and the day that you think that everything in your life is wrong, I don't deserve this. Brothers and sisters, you don't deserve to even be alive. So don't say what you do or don't deserve. I am very harsh when it comes on this matter. Because when we do kufran and ni'am, when we reject Allah's blessings, you don't know what door you've opened for the entire community and the world. When Allah will plague with punishment from above, that is painful. It is torture. Inna adabi la shadeed, it's severe. The worst thing a person can experience is to lose something in front of their own eyes. May Allah keep His blessings on all of us beyond our death. Say Ameen. May Allah allow us to keep our health, our eyes, our ears, our family, our faith beyond this mortal world. Because the worst thing you can experience is that Allah gives you and then He snatches away from you. In this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also talks about the famous story of what Shaitan will say when everyone will blame him on the Day of Judgment. This month, my brothers and sisters, if you want to know more about it, look at verse 22 of Surah Ibrahim. But if you want to know more, know this much: the Shaitan is tied up. Whatever evil inclinations you or I may have in this month is to remind you that it's you, it's not the devil. Stop blaming him. No one will blame the opponent team for losing. They will blame themselves for not producing. We need to blame ourselves. This month is telling us the problem hasn't been the devil, the problem's us. And if you continue the notion that you're blaming Shaitan, tomorrow a case will be filed against Shaitan, and Shaitan, based on this verse of the Holy Quran, will win. Every baseless claim that he ruined your life will be thrown out, and he will be exonerated from the blames that we associate with him. In the end of Surah Ibrahim, which of course all these surahs will be talking about the many struggles many prophets had with their people, from the mockery and the punishment, the torture and the false claims that people made against prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us a beautiful story with قال إبراهيم رب اجعل هذا البلد آمنا. There's a beautiful story of Ibrahim alayhi salam in this town of Mecca. Remember, Mecca is the center of the earth. Mecca is where the earth was created from. This world was water. Allah gazed down on this water and it formed land. And the land started spreading out from a central point. And then Allah put mountains and stuff to stabilize this earth. Understand the creation from the text of Islam. And the center of the earth is where Allah brought down the replica of the Kaaba upstairs. He brought it down to this earth with Adam alayhi salam. It was then destroyed during the flood of Nuh alayhi salam, only to be re-erected on the same foundations at the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And until the last renovation of the Kaaba during the time of Malik Fahd, one thing we know is that the foundation of the Kaaba was solid. It remained solid. They didn't have to touch it. This is the center of the earth. It was abandoned. Ibrahim alayhi salam came. He was told to settle his family there. Sometimes religion doesn't make sense. And it's fine. Because religion wasn't given to make sense. I traveled Pakistan with a Buddhist from Canada. I still remember his name, Misha. And Misha used to tell me when he was meditating after Azhar, and I used to do dhikr after Azhar, he said, if religion was all logical, then what's the use and what's the need of logic? What's the need of religion? If religion makes sense, what's the need of religion? Our religion, all of it's not supposed to make sense, and that's what faith is all about. You trust Allah. That's what your faith is. Allah, I left my family here in this barren valley by your house. Why should I come to the masjid at 3 o'clock when I'm the only person here? You come because you're coming for yourself. Why should I go do something good when no one else sees it as good? Because Allah has given you the lead to become the one who makes it trend, so you can get the reward of everyone that follows you. Be smart. So Ibrahim alayhi salam makes the sacrifice, he makes the dua. And today Makkah Mukarramah is what it is because of a sacrifice. A city that never sleeps. A city that never has a boring day. Why? Because it took one person sacrifice to establish something for millenniums to come. If you want to establish goodness, you sow the seed today. Your great-grandchildren will, insha'Allah, taste the fruit of it tomorrow. Say, insha'Allah. That's what the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam is. And at the end, we finish with Surah Hijr, and of course Surah Nahl. But Surah Hijr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in verse number 49, and I'll end with this, Nabbi ibadi anni ana al-ghafurur rahim. In this next Ashara of Ramadan, the Ashara, the 10 days of forgiveness, Allah is telling us in this surah, inform my servants that I'm the oft-forgiving and the merciful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower us with His mercy. May Allah forgive us completely. May Allah take our sins and convert them into good deeds. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a life where every moment is spent in gaining His pleasure. May Allah allow us to make heaven on this earth, heaven in our grave, heaven on the day of judgment, and heaven in heaven with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah.